Hello there. I have two tins from Pokemon Go. I know people crap on Pokemon Go, but I will always have a soft spot for Pokemon Go because it is how I got into Pokemon. I never got into it as a kid, but when Pokemon Go came out that summer, I did a lot of walking. It encouraged me to get outside and do stuff. Not a lot of stuff, but some stuff, and therefore I'll always be a fan. And in this time where we are really hurting for Pokemon cards, there are some options. I think I got these guys for like $20-ish a piece, which is okay. It has 4 packs in it, so that would be like $5 a pack if you just pretend like all this stuff doesn't exist, which is not horrible. Again, in this day and age, $5 a pack is about as good as you're gonna get. So I want to open these up, and I figured that while we do that, we will discuss something that I just taught the other day in my AP psychology class, which is about schizophrenia. That's it. That was dirty. Okay. So schizophrenia, first of all, first off, anytime I talk about mental health stuff, I'm going to tell you that I am just a teacher. I am not licensed in anything but teaching and being a principal. I am not licensed in anything else, okay? So when I talk about these kinds of things, it's important to you to remember that, and also to remember a couple things. One is that you should not diagnose yourself or other people. Oh, it comes with 2 promos? Does it say that it's supposed to come with 2 promos? 1 foil card featuring promo. 1 additional foil card. Okay, yeah. Neat. Okay, nice. I thought it was just 1. Another thing is you can talk to your regular doctor about this if you're like, that's... Why did they fold it like that? Why did they do that to my boy? Or girl, or whatever. Why did they do that? Really inappropriate. They could have done it a better way, couldn't they? We got an ad, which these are expired, so don't even bother. Card, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 packs, and the rest of it is just a tin. Okay, let's just put the rest of this in here. Okay, this is trash. And then my poor Snorlax sticker. Come on, man. Let's see how the other one is. Probably exactly the same. Okay, yeah, so those are all the disclaimers, right? Don't diagnose yourself or others. I am not licensed, etc., etc. If you do feel like this is... Okay, so maybe they all get this one. Oh, look at that swirl right there. Ooh la la, look at that. Ooh, that's nice. Very nice. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted by the swirls. They did it again. Look. You couldn't have put him over here. You couldn't have done that. Does it fit this way? Not really. Wow, they could have designed that about 100 times better than they did. But who am I to say? Who am I to say maybe not fold a sticker down the middle? Who am I? Who am I to say that? And then we have 4 more packs here. Okay. So all that being said, schizophrenia. And what I want to do is I want to look at the DSM-5 diagnostic criteria and go over it with you. The DSM is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Psychological Disorders, and in there it's a big book. We're on number 5, so that means that it does change every once in a while to be updated with information that we learn or to deal with like social change. So for instance, being gay used to be considered a mental disorder, but they got with the times and were like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't lock people up for that. Some countries need to take that lesson. I don't know if there's a card trick for here. Here's your code card. But we'll find out if there's a card trick. Okay, so yeah, the DSM-5 is a place to go when you're looking. That is really sweet. I've been collecting Eevees, Charmanders, like all this line. Only Eevees. I don't really care about any of the evolutions, to be honest, but I've been collecting the Eevee cards. Charmanders, Pikachus, Machamps, etc., etc. Tyranitar, Melmetal. Okay, so there's a card trick. So 4 from the back. Okay. So we got a holo. We got energy. He looks lonely. Not really. His expression is fine. But he's just hanging out. Candela. That's the other thing I've been collecting, are full art trainers as well. Okay, so nothing here. Got a holo though. Oh, and a reverse. Sorry, I skipped that one. That's a reverse holo. Okay. So far, nothing. Yeah, so that's the book that had, the DSM is the book that has basically like the checklist of stuff. So it has to be for a certain amount of time. Like these symptoms have to be for a certain amount of time, and need to affect your life and stuff like that. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to tell you. Code card is that, I think this way. Is that, oh no, what was I going to say? I was going to say, nope, I lost it. It'll come back at some point. Probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. Squirtle, another Charmander, another Eevee, a reverse holo. And look at that. She is ferocious. So we got Chansey, and then it evolves into Blissey. Look, this one is so chill, and then this one is like, I got you, I'm gonna get you. That's fine. Okay. What was I gonna say about that? I don't remember. Okay, anyway. So let's look at what the DSM says is schizophrenia, okay? So it says 2 or more of the following, okay, each present for a significant portion of time during a 1-month period or less if successfully treated, and at least one of these must be delusions, hallucinations, or disorganized speech. Okay, let's get something out of the way first. A very common misconception with schizophrenia. Look at that card, man. That is like beat up. Oh, but it's energy. Nice. Okay. For any of the cards to be messed up, that's the one to be messed up, because no one cares about that. Oh, people get it confused. So schizophrenia is not multiple personality disorder. Let's get that out the way. A lot of people get that confused. They are not the same. An important way to understand that, a Venusaur reverse, and we got our first hit. We got a slacking V, which does count. Oh, I keep distracting myself. At least one of these. Okay. Oh, schizophrenia is not multiple personality disorder. A couple of things to keep in mind is that basically in schizophrenia, the way that I described it to the kids is like, the call is coming from inside the house. And I know that they don't understand what that reference is. But with multiple personality disorder, it's like, and there's questions as to whether or not it's actually legitimate or not, or whether it's all made up. And that's a whole other story. But the thing is, with schizophrenia, to the person who's experiencing it, it does not feel like the voices that they're hearing are from themselves. In multiple personality disorder, the call is coming from inside the house. And basically they're like switching personalities or personas, let's say. And that's very different. That is very, very different. To think that the voices that the person is hearing is someone else or literally outside of themselves. That's a cool one. That's a cool one too. That's a big difference, because those are two very different things. To be hearing voices, but to think that they're coming from outside yourself, means that you don't identify with that. And these hallucinations and delusions are so real that they cannot tell the difference. And that is where the name comes into play, schizophrenia. Schizophrenia means split mind, essentially. These people who are experiencing like a psychotic episode, they are having a hard time differentiating between what is real and what is not. Okay, so when they hear the voices, they can't tell if they're real or not. Further, I would say one step further, I would say they think it's real. It's not about whether they think it's real or fake. They're not going to question it. If you met somebody out in public, would you question whether they are real or not? Probably not. If you do, that might be part of a bigger thing. Because that's not really normal to think about, oh yeah, baby, look at that. Yes, that is this solid hit. Come on. And Mew, people love Mew. I don't really know why. I think it has to do with the movie probably. But gosh darn, people crap on Pokemon Go, but that's a cool card. And it's textured. Wow. Wow. Okay, nice. Last pack. Okay, we're going to open up some more stuff because I barely got into what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, again, so they have a hard time if they're experiencing a psychotic episode and they're having schizophrenia. They're going to have a hard time differentiating between what is real and what is not. And therefore, if they're hearing voices or they're seeing stuff, then they're going to think it's real. And unfortunately, sometimes it might be a delusion or it might be a hallucination. Now, what is the difference between a hallucination and a delusion? Well, a hallucination, let's organize this first and then we'll open up some more. A hallucination, oftentimes we think of it as seeing something that's not there, but that's not necessarily the case. It could be hearing something that's not there. Hearing something that's not there. So you can have a hallucination either way. And from what I can gather, it kind of sounds like the auditory hallucinations kind of seem more popular or more prevalent. I shouldn't say popular, but more prevalent. But maybe I'm not understanding correctly. But it seems like that seems to be more of the case. A delusion, on the other hand, is having a belief that doesn't jive. An extreme example, but a solid example would be like thinking that you're Jesus. Okay. Again, for us, like that's bizarre and ridiculous. But if you're having a hard time differentiating between reality and not reality, then it doesn't sound that crazy, like to that person. And it's also important to keep in mind that like for these people, it feels really real. Like you can't just say no, that like think logically. Like that's not going to happen. That's literally their diagnostic criteria. Okay. Like the reason why they qualify as having schizophrenia is because they cannot tell the difference between reality and not reality. That's schizophrenia. It's split mind, and more specifically split from reality. I have a box under my desk. Let's just grab that one. It is the Infernape box, and just taking up a lot of space, so let's open it up. I would say also, I explained to my kids, like, when you think in your mind of a crazy person, you're probably like, not to be like offensive, but like if a normal run-of-the-mill average Joe thinks about a crazy person in their mind, like what does that mean? They're going to think probably somebody with schizophrenia, somebody who's talking to themselves, somebody who looks disheveled, is having a problem. And I've told my kids over and over again that every year my goal in my AP psychology class is to build empathy and understanding. Because, yeah, it is scary to see somebody who's talking to themselves or talking to somebody who's not there. That is scary. Like, I'm not going to say, like, that's totally average behavior. Like, it isn't. It's a disorder for a reason, right? And it is a sickness, which again is something that I try to have the kids understand because, wow, why can't I get this out? Because when we encounter things and people that we don't understand, a lot of times people's normal reaction to that is to be afraid. And when people are afraid, they do stupid things like hurt each other and kill each other. So instead of that, how about we approach these situations with kindness and empathy? And that would solve a lot of the world's problems, if we're being honest. So that's always been my goal when it comes to psychology in general, but especially when I get to the unit of abnormal psych or clinical psych, because, wow, there's only 4 packs in here. I was going to say that's trash. It's not trash. I paid probably about $20 for this off of Target. I just got lucky. Comes with 1 Fusion Strike, 2 Lost Origin, 1 Astral Radiance. I'm not sure what the prices on those are right now, but it is, I mean, it's not bad. Again, $5 per pack. Not bad. Again, code card. So again, why is it that when we think of crazy people, that, again, I use that word not as an insult. I used it as a touchstone for the normal vernacular, so to speak. Let's do Astral, and then let's do Lost Origin at the end. Okay, so again, I explained delusions, hallucinations. Then there's also disorganized speech. Let's go ahead, because these are the older packs, let's do the same pack trick that we did last time, and let's see if that works. Yeah, it did. Okay, great. Okay, energy. Again, this is Astral Radiance. Yes. Another symptom is disorganized speech. And then it has, again, I'm reading off of the DSM-5. It also says, it describes it as, for example, frequent derailment or incoherence. Another word or term related to this. Okay. This is called a non-hollow rare. So normally behind your reverse hollow is going to be like the best card. And it's not even shiny. But you can see in the corner that it has a star. That means rare. So we got a non-hollow rare. Not my fave. Fusion Strike. Frequent derailment, I had to Google. It's basically like just constantly like ping-ponging. But here's the thing. I want to mention this because if somebody has really bad ADHD, that might appear like frequent derailment, right? To the untrained eye, so to speak. That's important because, that was what I was going to say earlier. All of the mental illnesses, I would argue, are based in normal human behavior. It's just that it becomes a disorder when it becomes a problem, right? When it interacts with your life. So like being sad, normal. Being depressed and not being able to take a shower for a long time, possible disorder, right? Like that is when it becomes something else. Okay, last 2 packs. Another thing, again, incoherence, and then related term would be word salad, which is like when the words just don't make sense. Like they're saying words and they are feeling like they are communicating, but the words that are coming out of their mouth really don't make sense, especially in the order in which they're sending them out. Also, grossly disorganized or catatonic behavior. If somebody is catatonic, they're like not aware. They're like, it's like they're asleep, but they're awake, if that makes sense. My computer just went to sleep. Then there's also, so that was positive symptoms. There's also negative symptoms. It's important to understand that in psychology, positive and negative do not mean good and bad. Positive and negative in psychology, wow, we could just get in a whole bunch of non-holo rares. I want shiny cards. Gosh. Last pack. So there's also negative symptoms. Okay, so positive means something is added. So that would be example, a hallucination, a delusion. Those are things that do not exist for a normal person. And then when they come up, that's a positive symptom because it's something that's being added. Negative symptoms are things where the normal things that a person has gets taken away. So an example on this is diminished emotional expression or avolition. And I had to Google that one too. Avolition, the decrease in ability to initiate and persist in self-directed, purposeful hobbies. So again, that's something that you would normally be able to do, is stuff that you like. But when having an episode of schizophrenia, that may not be the case. And we have a full art. Thank you. Okay, so we didn't get a reverse there. We instead got the full art, which is awesome. I like this card so much, I've actually bought it. So that's awesome to pull it. And then we got another non-holo rare. Let's organize this real quick. So it also says, continue. Continuous signs of the disturbance persist for at least 6 months. This 6-month period must include at least 1 month of symptoms or less if successfully treated that meet the above criteria, i.e. the active phase symptoms, and may include periods of prodromal or residual symptoms. During these periods, the signs of the disturbance may be manifested only The signs of the disturbance may be manifested only be negative symptoms or by 2 or more symptoms listed above present in an attenuated form. Interesting. Okay, so as we organize our cards, so again, these are based, I would argue that mental disorders are normally based in, that's a star. They're normally based in real normal human behavior. Again, being sad versus being depressed, right? Being nervous for a presentation as opposed to having an anxiety disorder, right? Not being able to function. So there's a difference in these for sure. Okay, and it's important to understand that. And it's important to understand that it says you need 2 or more of that list, and it needs to be for at least a month. I think that's really interesting because, again, somebody could have a delusion for an unrelated, or a hallucination for an unrelated thing that's not schizophrenia. So they could have anesthesia, perfectly legal drugs, okay, and then have a hallucination. Doesn't mean that they're schizophrenic. They could be talking weirdly. Doesn't mean they have schizophrenia. It could be a stroke, right? So that's why there's a list of symptoms, and that's why you have to basically qualify for that. Okay, so that was a little bit of schizophrenia. Anytime that you want to look up a mental disorder, I would highly, highly recommend that you look up the name of the disorder and then schizophrenia DSM and a separate schizophrenia space DSM. And then what you'll find is the official diagnostic criteria. And what I found here also is from the Florida, probably Behavioral Health Center or something. And I'll put the link in the description. It also talks about how it's treated. So it talks about what are the criteria for somebody to qualify as schizophrenic, and then how do we treat that? So it talks about the medicines, it talks about how much it is, it's all that stuff. Does it mention therapy? Antipsychotics? No, it's just medicine. So oftentimes it's going to be treated with medicine and talk therapy, but schizophrenia, from my understanding, works very well with medicine because it seems like it's mostly a brain chemical disorder. All right, so that was these 2 Pokemon Go pins, or tins. I meant tins, not pins. I have a couple more of the products. I have some pin collections. So I'll do those soon on the channel as well. But again, if you're looking out for Pokemon cards and stuff, go on eBay, go on, surprisingly, the TikTok shop. I only go on TikTok for the TikTok shop. You'll find some coupons and stuff. Find what you like, just scroll around, see what catches your eye. These guys caught my eye because I like them both. I'm collecting Snorlax for my dog because she looks like a Snorlax and she's a cutie patootie just like Snorlax. So they caught my eye. And then what I did was I looked on eBay and on TikTok shop to see what had the best deal. And again, I was able to get these for around like $20 a piece. So there are options out there. Not in the stores. I haven't seen any like literally I have not seen a pack of any Pokemon I'm in Houston. I haven't seen anything for months. And I have been looking. I have heard that there's restocks and stuff, but in my town, shoot, they go fast. So I've been buying all my cards online. And that's doable. Definitely doable. So again, just be a smart shopper, look around, see what you can get. $20 here, $20 there, you might be able to get some stuff. So thank you for watching. Sorry, it was a bit jumbled, but it's a really interesting topic. Any mental illness is an interesting topic to me, but schizophrenia, because it's, again, that one that a lot of people think of immediately when they think of somebody being quote unquote crazy. I think it's an interesting thing to talk about, especially when trying to build empathy and not be so scared of the unknown. So I hope you enjoyed this. I have some big stuff coming up soon. I have some more prismatic. I have some other stuff. If there's anything that you would like to learn about, please put it in the comments below. Please don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and comment. It does help. I'm sorry for saying that, but it does. And I guess that's it for now, and then we'll see what happens next.